For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mark, and I'm the proud father of the bride. On behalf of Graham and Romy and Diego, Jill and I would like to welcome you here tonight to celebrate Sami and Darian. To those of you who have rearranged schedules and traveled to be here, it means the world to us that you made this journey to be part of this unforgettable day. If you received an invitation to this wedding, you are not just a guest. You are someone Sami and Darian love, someone who has mattered in their lives. Jill and I are deeply grateful you're here to share this night with all of us. I've always said that the measure of a great celebration isn't what's on the table, it's who's sitting around it. And looking out at all of you tonight, my most favorite people in the entire world are here celebrating with us. Who could ask for anything more? Now, before I get to Sami and Darian, I want to thank a few people. But don't worry, my wife told me my speech should be like a miniskirt. Long enough to cover the essentials, short enough to keep your attention. First, I want to thank my amazing wife, Jill. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our 32nd wedding anniversary. Without her, none of this would have been possible, and I mean that literally. Jill handled pretty much everything. I want to say I truly love you, and thank you for all your hard work and attention to detail. I, on the other hand, was personally in charge of the luxury porta potties. And I say luxury advisedly because there's nothing in my life that has cost more per square foot. I encourage you to please use them as much as you need to. They are lovely. They have air conditioning and flowers. I would like to thank Romy and Graham for raising such an extraordinary young man. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so clearly you two have some very good trees. Thank you for everything you have done to shape the man Darian has become, and for welcoming Sami, Jill, Emily, and I so warmly into your family. And every good tree has a strong branch. That would be the Honorable Diego. A special thank you to Diego for conducting that beautiful ceremony and clearly having a huge influence on Darian's life. And to Greg and Susie, thank you for opening your magnificent home to all of us. This place will hold a very special piece of our family's heart forever. We love you guys. I'd like to take a moment to mention someone who's no longer with us, Sami's grandfather, Papa Ron Sands. Sami and Ron had a truly special relationship, and he adored Darian, testing out his Spanish on him every chance he got. Ron was so happy to be part of the engagement party last fall. So when I sat down to write the speech, I decided to go back to the source. I pulled out my old VCR. Yes, I still have one. And I watched Jill's and my wedding tape to hear Ron's toast from 32 years ago. Ron used a word I had heard before but never really stopped to think about, naches. A Yiddish word that means pride and joy, specifically the kind that comes from watching your children succeed and become who they're meant to be. It's more than just pride, it's soulful, it's emotional, it's rooted in deep love. They say naches is more precious to a Jewish parent than wealth, power, or pretty much anything else. Standing here tonight, looking at my daughter and her husband, I finally completely understand it. Sami. Now let me tell you about my daughter, Sami. When Sami was about 4 years old, she was being very mean to her baby sister, Emily, so I reprimanded her. She went crying hysterically to her mother. Jill came to me in a panic. What did you do? I said, I told her no. Jill said, well, don't do that. And honestly, that set the tone for the next 20 plus years. People say it's hard to raise a daughter. I found it quite simple. She'd ask, I'd say no. And then somehow, about 10 minutes later, I'd find myself sometimes saying yes. I'm kidding, sort of, but good luck with that, Darian. Now, I don't want to embarrass Sami by telling everyone how cute she was as a baby, or what a tremendous athlete she was, or how proud we are of everything she has accomplished professionally. So instead, I'd like to talk about me. Specifically, the only 3 times I ever messed up as a parent. When Sami was about 2 or 3, Jill was away for the day. I decided today's the day I'd take Sami on our first big adventure. I chose Universal Studios. We had an absolute blast. Junk food, the tram ride, the whole experience. And then we saw the Jaws shark. Now, I should have known better. What I did not anticipate is that Sami would have nightmares about that shark for the next year. So every single night I had to lie next to her until she fell asleep. So technically the shark cost me about 365 nights of sleep. Worth it? Absolutely. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Number 2, some of you know I used to have UCLA season basketball tickets, and Sami came to most games, Game Boy in hand, every single time. She was a multitasker from birth. Anyway, one rainy night, sold-out game against Arizona. Sami was maybe 5 years old, wearing this enormous white fluffy coat. The thing probably cost more than my jacket. In fact, I know it did. The game ends, we win, we're driving away, and I realize I left the coat on the seat. Now, anyone who's been to Poly Pavilion after a big game knows you don't just stroll back in. But I knew exactly how dead I would be if I showed up home without the coat. So I did what any responsible parent would do. I parked the car illegally, told Sami, a 5-year-old, don't open the door for anyone except me. And I ran what I believe was a personal record quarter-mile back to the stadium. The coat recovered, no harm, no foul. Sami and I kept that secret for 20 years. Until right now. Okay, and number 3, many of you know I coached Sami's softball team for many years. She was my star player, genuinely talented. Well, one day before an important game, some boy threw a dodgeball at her at school and hurt her finger. She told me she couldn't play. I looked at the finger and said, and I want you to really hear this, I'm your father, I'm your coach, and I'm a doctor. It looks fine, you're playing. She played great, we won, I was feeling pretty good. Later, we went to the orthopedist, broke it. Now it's forever crooked. It's entirely my fault, and I'm thankful every single day it was not the ring finger. Sami, the moment you were born, the moment I first carried you in my arms, I knew my world would change forever. You were so small, but you carried the biggest piece of my heart.
You got it, Mark!
I've watched you grow from the most curious, joyful little girl into the remarkable, beautiful woman you are today. It has been the greatest privilege of my life to be your father, and I'm so proud to stand here and say that I love you. Darian. Now, Darian, we first met Darian during the pandemic. Everyone was masked up. I tell people I generally did not know he had facial hair for the first several months of our relationship. For all I know, he could have had a full beard, a goatee, a handlebar mustache. I had no idea. He was just eyes and a forehead. About a year into Sami and Darian's relationship, I invited him to our annual Turkey Bowl football game. A tradition my high school friends and I have kept going for 40 plus years. Several of those guys are here tonight somewhere. What I did not tell anyone is that Darian played college football. He has now played with us 4 or 5 years, and I want to be very clear. I am completely at peace with the fact that I used to be one of the first picks, and now it's Darian. I'm perfectly fine with the fact that I used to win the MVP award, and now it's Darian. There is simply no substitute for youth and height and strength. Darian is a great guy, don't you all agree?
Yeah!
I mean, suspiciously nice. Nobody is naturally that nice. I've been studying him for the past few years. I hear things from Jill like, you should take some lessons from Darian. Darian opens the door. Darian remembers things. Darian does this. Darian does that. So I was looking at my favorite shopping destination, the TikTok shop, and I saw this shirt. Here it is. It says, what does it say? I am my mother-in-law's favorite child. I'm not done with you yet. What I really love about Darian, and I mean this, is that he's the real deal. Honest, caring, no act, no games. And you don't have to take my word for it. You just have to watch him with Sami. The way he looks at her, the way he takes care of her. That's not something you can fake. Believe me, I've been watching him very closely. He has never slipped up once, not once. That man truly, genuinely is in love with Sami. And for a father, there is no greater gift. Darian, before I raise this glass, I want to say something straight. From the moment you came into Sami's life, you didn't just join this family, you fit it. Like you'd been part of it all along. And watching the two of you together, the truth is clear. You are so much more than the sum of your parts. You make each other kinder, stronger, and more fully yourselves. And that is the rarest thing two people can find. Today on paper, Sami becomes a Cohen, but I want you to know in our hearts, you became a Lavin a long time ago. We could not be prouder or happier to welcome you into our family. So in conclusion, I would like to propose a toast. Hope you guys all have a drink. And for this toast, I may have borrowed some words from one of Sami and my favorite artists. If you know, you know. So please raise your glasses. Sami and Darian, may you be the couple who still slow dances in the kitchen at midnight by refrigerator light when no one is watching. And if someone is watching, may you not care one bit. May the love you have right now be the thing you keep coming back to in every season for the rest of your lives. Technical difficulties. And Darian, I say this as a man who has survived every single Taylor Swift era since the very beginning. May you always, always find your way back to each other, because this right here is the best thing that's ever been yours. May your marriage be long, your love be deep, and may you one day know the nachas of watching someone you raised become everything you hoped they'd be. To Sami and Darian, we love you.
And now we have our father-daughter dance.